second person passes away after leaving the ship. At the airport, May 2nd, a third person passes away.
This Hantavirus situation that's going on that cruise ship is more serious than people think.
Hantavirus affecting the cruise ship appears to be the Andes variety, which goes human to human. This is devastating news because
the hantavirus plaguing the cruise ship has now also spread to France. He contracted it from the passenger who died that was on the plane.
But what about the 150 people still on the ship?
I am currently on board the MV Hondius. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We've got an interesting topic to talk about today. We are being attacked by Corona's cousin. Lockdown 3.0 potentially incoming after this new breakout, the Hantavirus. I don't know nothing about this. We're going to dive straight in and find out what is going on. All I do know is my FYP and my timeline has been flooded with this information, and clearly it wants me to share it with you guys. So let's dive in.
There are only two possible causes for the cruise ship hantavirus outbreak. One is common, but the other is terrifying. Okay, let me give you some substance. There were 150 people on this cruise, and it all starts in Argentina. They leave Argentina, April 11th, the first person passes away on the ship. They said it was a respiratory infection, he passed away. Then on April 24th, the body of that person was disembarked at St. Helena. But then on April 26th in South Africa, a second person passes away after leaving the ship. At the airport, May 2nd, a third person passes away. May 3rd, they're parked in Cape Verde. That ship's going.
Based on this timeline, there's been enough time for this virus to spread, basically. Those initial 3 people, as well as the woman that got on the flight to take her dead husband home, this is the first victim, they've had enough time to spread the virus.
Nowhere. So here's why people are extremely worried. So the hantavirus affects you through infected rodents, and it's not contagious. They didn't find any rodents on the ship, not a single one. Enter the Andes virus. The Antivirus is a subclade of the hantavirus, and it is the only hantavirus that can be spread from person to person. Super spreader. Causes hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a severe respiratory illness with a high fatality rate. They all had respiratory illnesses. Now remember I said they started in Argentina? That's where the virus comes from. It derives from the Andes Mountains. So the way this virus works is it doesn't activate for 1 to 2 weeks. Kind of like this timeline. Now this virus is spread through droplets and from coughing, sneezing, touching things. And like I said in South Africa on April 26th, that lady passed away in the airport. A lot of people in an airport. So now the WHO is going to evacuate everyone slowly because there's still 5 people that are sick, and then take the boat to Spain to inspect it. This is a nightmare. This could be quite the event. Not gonna lie, I'm concerned.
I can't lie, it does sound concerning at this moment in time.
This Hantavirus situation that's going on that cruise ship is more serious than people think. And it's starting to look a little similar to what happened in 2020. You have a ship filled with 149 people who could possibly be infected by the virus. Mind you, you had 3 people pass away. And one of those people that passed away, a 70-year-old Dutch man, was with his wife when he passed away. This man's wife took a flight from St. Helena to Johannesburg Airport. Mind you, this flight was a commercial flight. What does that mean? That means that this virus that's not usually airborne, which is airborne now, had a possibility of being contracted by more people that was on that commercial flight. Mind you, this woman was sick as well. Mind you, they did not tell this woman to leave. This lady left on her own to ride back with her husband's body. Now, if you remember, Cape Verde wasn't gonna let this ship dock. So now this ship is going to the Canary Islands. And when it gets to the Canary Islands, they're supposed to clean the ship. I don't know if they're letting anybody off this ship, but Spain said it was okay for this ship to come to Canary Island. But I don't think y'all understand how serious this shit can get. They're saying that this...
It's okay for that ship to go to Canary Islands, where there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Brits.
Virus has a 9-week quarantine period. And also, the mortality rate of this virus is 40%. That don't sound scary to you? The question we need to ask is, how did that virus mutate that way? Again, this shit is way more serious than they're saying it is.
So this is what's troubling scientists about the apparent outbreak of that deadly virus on the cruise ship in the Atlantic. Catching hantavirus from another human is rare, but there have been cases reported with the Andean strain of the virus, I'm told, in South America, and this ship started out in Argentina. So the scientists I'm speaking to say the most likely cause of the spread of this illness is human-to-human transmission, which probably explains why everyone's being kept on board. They don't want it spreading to shore. So one leading epidemiologist told me the most likely scenario is that one of the travellers was exposed in Argentina and was incubating the infection, or perhaps several of the passengers. He says it's less likely that the outbreak was actually spread by rodents on the ship, or if the systems were infected, particularly if there's a cluster like this. They're keeping passengers on board while they figure it out, of course, but symptoms don't appear for weeks, so who knows how long they'll be on board. The World Health Organization telling me, though, that the risk to the public is low.
Hantavirus affecting the cruise ship appears to be the Andes variety, which goes human to human. This is devastating news because the hantavirus has a lethality rate, a mortality rate of 15 to 40%. 3 people have died currently of the 8 people that are infected. 3 of the individuals on the ship are being evacuated to the Netherlands for treatment. One of them is in
3 in every 8.
very bad shape. This is an RNA type of virus, which means it mutates quickly. Think influenza, think COVID, which means a simple vaccine won't protect you forever from this. You will need boosters if this comes into our society. And if it comes in as deadly as it is, we are looking at a plague far worse than the Spanish flu, far worse than COVID, and far worse than many of the plagues we have seen. This at a time when the United States is withdrawn from the World Health Organization. And right now we are depending upon the World Health Organization to keep our shores safe. It used to be we would be sending the Centers for Disease Control and its scientists there who kept our shores safe from Ebola. But alas, we can't do that because we have devastated the Centers for Disease Control, firing a number of the scientists who would do it. This is not a time to play politics. This is a time when we need the scientific community to come up quickly with information to keep us safe.
The hantavirus plaguing the cruise ship has now also spread to France. So a French person who never set foot on this cruise ship has now tested positive for this Andes virus, which is the substrain of the hantavirus that can spread from person to person. They contracted it from the passenger who died that was on the plane. And if you remember, what I've said on previous videos is that they are now tracking everybody on that plane that rode with the victim who passed away. Now, previously, investigators had been using a theory that the elderly couple had been bird watching in Argentina and they picked it up and brought it back to the ship. If you remember, I said on my last video as well that there was a Swiss man who was on this ship a month prior to all of this. He is now home. He recently got an email from the cruise ship line, tested positive for this Andes virus. No word yet on his wife's status. Remember, this virus can lay dormant for up to 8 weeks. It has a 40% mortality rate, which is 4 out of 10 people, and it is spread by respiratory droplets. This ship is headed to the Canary Islands where they're going to dock at Tenerife. The local officials are trying to push back, but ultimately the Prime Minister of Spain is saying that they are going to allow them to dock. They're going to quarantine all of the Spaniards at a military hospital, and then the rest of the people will go immediately back to their own countries instead of quarantining in place. No word yet if they're going to be quarantined when they get back to their countries. I would hope so.
So she said it's spread to France. The Spanish authorities are saying, yeah, we'll dock it in Tenerife. Tenerife, yeah? Okay, we'll dock it in Tenerife, where most of the people over there are from the UK or tourists. Yeah, that sounds like a brilliant idea. So here we have conflicting information off the back of the last video we just watched. It says Canary Islands leaders reject the plan to dock the Hantavirus cruise ship there. They don't want it over there.
I am currently on board the MV Hantavirus, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people.
Hold on. I'm watching the body language, and the body language is telling me something else. Like,
I am currently on board the MV Hantavirus, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people. people with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part. All we want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity, and to get home. So if you're seeing coverage about this, just remember that there are real people behind it, and that this isn't something happening somewhere far away. It's happening to us right now.
Another thing that I found weird is the only people I could find who have shared their experience are vloggers, like travel vloggers, not like normal people that would be on that ship. I don't think I've heard any statement. Maybe in this video we're going to find one, I don't know, but I haven't heard a statement from a normal person, a witness that is also experiencing the same situation on this ship. And then here we have another YouTuber giving his side of the story. So again, I haven't seen anyone else on this ship that's been affected, giving their side of the story, telling us their experience, what it's like for the people that they've come in contact with. No. We're hearing it from a travel vlogger and this Turkish YouTuber.
We were all together during breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm talking about over 100 passengers. People were socializing, they were sitting side by side. Also, we had group activities. There were no rumors, but at that point, I was kind of feeling very worried about the old people because most of the passengers were senior people. I didn't thought of any virus such as Hantavirus, but I thought there might be a bad fever. I didn't give any possibility of any...
Hold on. Is he saying that he felt like this before he knew this was actually happening?
Deadly disease such as this one, but I was trying to isolate
I'm not too sure about this one. We were all together during breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, we were all together. So just to let you guys know, that virus is amongst 100 of us.
The deadly rat virus outbreak on the MV Hondius cruise ship has just hit the mainland, and it's suspected to be human to human. At least 23 passengers flew home to all corners of the globe last month.
Heard at least 23. So it could be 30, 40, 50. We don't actually know. At least 23.
And in Switzerland just tested positive, and another passenger is officially back here in Australia. Now here's why this is massive. Hantavirus is almost never spread between people. You usually have to breathe in rat droppings to get it. But this is the Andes strain.
You have to ask yourself, how the hell do they know that you have to breathe in rat droppings in order to get this virus? Who did they test this on?
It's the only version on Earth known to make the jump from person to person. We're talking a 40% mortality rate. The death toll has already hit 3, including a couple who caught it during a birdwatching tour in Argentina. One died
a month ago, yeah? It was a month ago, just over a month ago.
On the ship, and the other died after disembarking. But what about the 150 people still on the ship?
I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here.
They've been stuck in their
Oh man, you know, the more I watch that, the more I feel like it's just totally fake. I can't lie.
cabin for days while the vessel was anchored off Cape Verde. Eerie photos show the ship's doctor being evacuated in a hazmat suit, while a third victim's body reportedly remains on board, according to Oceanlight Expeditions. The ship is currently sailing towards the Canary Islands, but there is a major standoff. The regional president there is refusing to let them dock, calling it a danger to his citizens. Spain's central government is fighting to let them in so they can finally be screened. Meanwhile, those 22 other escaped passengers were wandering around for weeks before the World Health Organization even tried to contact them. And here is the ticking clock. The FIFA World Cup kicks off in just 5 weeks. The virus can lie dormant for 8 weeks, meaning fans could be boarding international flights very soon with 0 symptoms. The story is still unfolding, so head to news.com.au for further updates.
They're playing it down as if it's not that serious, but the way they're describing it is as if it's crazy. Over 100 people were on that cruise ship, and you're telling me the only 2 testimonies we get is from 2 YouTubers, one travel vlogger and one other Don, that we don't even know what he does. He's just a paid actor, perhaps? I don't know. I need you guys to comment down below and let me know exactly what you're thinking. I've got more of these videos coming. There's a few conspiracies out there which are extremely compelling, and I need to bring them to your attention. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn your notification bells on. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.